annoying when my cat.
Israel believes that it can get away with anything and everything. That the powerful Western states on which it depends for arms, for diplomatic, military support, aid, you name it, will allow it to do what it wants. And Israel is absolutely correct. That's the context behind Israel's slaughter of 7 aid workers, 3 of them British, another Australian, another Polish, and 2 dual national Palestinians. That is a Palestinian American and a Palestinian Canadian. Now, let me said, first of all, that this is yet another hideous atrocity. It's getting a lot more attention because the victims are Westerners. And of course, it's important to have their grieving loved ones in our thoughts.
As soon as you
it's beyond
kill
imagination.
white people, it's like, I mean, you know, white people have died, but as soon as you kill wealthy white people or people that are close to wealthy white people, it's like, oh, all hands on deck, stop this genocide now. Like, we've been watching kids getting blown up for the last 6 months. Like, I feel like I have PTSD from all the shit I've seen, and I can't keep my eyes off of it. I'm like glued to all the shit going on. It's insane. It's too much. And it really is. It shouldn't be happening. And I really think that America shouldn't be part of this. Like, America shouldn't be egging on an ethnic cleansing or even a genocide if it gets to that. You don't need to kill everybody for it to be a genocide. You can murder, you can blow hospitals up, prevent births, no hospitals, no births, prevent, you know what I mean? There's other ways to do a genocide than to kill every literal living being of the Palestinian diaspora.
They're going through. But we have to remember that so many Palestinians, tens of thousands, have been...
Some people think that genocide means when you kill literally every single person of a certain group. And that's not true, because Rubia says, we should not be giving Israel any help, but they keep going. Yeah, honestly, as long as we're not giving Israel any help, if they keep going, that's on them. That's their fault. You know what I mean? If they keep doing genocide and all, that's the world's going to see it. It's going to be on them. I don't want to be complicit. I don't want my taxpayer money to be going to this insane genocide or ethnic cleanse, whatever you want to call it. It's bad. Whatever you want to call it, it is bad. You know what I mean? Like, you can't get around that at this point. But I think Biden just loves Israel. Like, he is so old. I think he knew one of the Israeli presidents or whatever. Exactly. Yeah, Ruby says exactly. Yeah, he's so old. I don't know. It's crazy.
Murdered by the Israeli state, and the vast majority of them receive no attention. They're often painful, terrified last moments, ignored forever. Palestinian blood is so cheap, it's practically treated as worthless. Israel's targeted killing of World Kitchen aid workers is instructive and should be seen against the backdrop of other atrocities committed this weekend, like the destruction of Al-Shifa Hospital and the bombing of Damascus. Let's talk over what we know about the World Central Kitchen massacre. Israel has sought to destroy the main aid agency in Gaza, which is UNRWA, via a smear campaign which is not justified by the evidence. And they have killed more UN staff members in the last 6 months than in any conflict in such a short period of time since the United Nations was founded amidst the rubble of World War II. Israel has killed around 200 aid workers since the 7th of October. They touted World Central Kitchen as an alternative, which, to be frank, whatever the incredible work, which no one can dispute, of volunteers, was never going to come close as an NGO to filling the vacuum of a vast UN aid agency. Now, you can see why Israel saw WCK as partners. Their founder, chef Jose Andres, fiercely denounced a then Spanish government minister, Ione Belarra, on the 16th of October after she had condemned Israel for war crimes because of its massive bombings. She cited cutting off water and electricity, and notably that it was refusing to let in humanitarian aid. Chef Jose Andres responded that the minister had to accept Israel was defending its citizens before asking for restraint or respect for the lives of civilians in Gaza, and then smeared her by suggesting she supported Russia for some reason and Hamas, and demanded that the Spanish Prime Minister had her sacked. Now I know he's going to be grieving today for his murdered staff, and thoughts should be with him on that basis. I would be interested to know if he has reflected on what he said, because that former Spanish minister was absolutely correct. As we know from the World Central Kitchen statement, these aid workers were killed.
Oh, Rubius, I literally got like into a debate with my dad because I went over to his house to pick up some documents because I needed to do some changes to my ID card, my driver's license. Anyways, I went over and he asks me, he fucking asks me if I'm a communist. You know what I mean? Because of my fucking YouTube or whatever. I'm like, I'm like, my name is Social Lust. So you would think to ask like, are you a socialist? But no, he just goes straight to, are you a communist? And we start debating about all that, right? And first of all, he says the previous Cuban dictator Fulgencio Batista is better than Fidel Castro, which is why I made that Cuban video about Fidel Castro with the check mark, and it's called Cuba Bad. But anyways, I was so pissed off. At the end of that debate, my dad says that there is no Cuban embargo. That doesn't exist. The communism or socialism just sucks so bad that they can't get food. They can't get nothing in that island. They're fucked. They're destitute. He literally thinks they're just that shitty. And then at the end of that debate, I asked him about Israel and Palestine and how we're supporting like governments that are doing bad stuff. And he says, "What, you mean the terrorists?" And as soon as I heard, "What, you mean the terrorists?" I was just like, I had to end the conversation. I couldn't talk. I couldn't debate anymore. I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. If you're just gonna think that the other side are terrorists, the Palestinians are all terrorists, like what do I say to that? Like my family are just all fucking like, they're all cavemen. That's what they are. I don't know. Yeah, it's just a little thought I had in my head though.
Despite travelling in a deconflicted zone. That is a zone officially deemed by the IDF as free of conflict. They were travelling in cars clearly branded with very...
Yeah, it's got to be the age gap. Yeah, you're right. It's just so sad because we have the United Nations there in place, right? And I love history. I'm a history buff. I love history. I knew about Nazi Germany by the age of 10 years old. You know, I learned about all that shit. I was like, really, it's crazy. I've seen documentaries about all that. Rubia says that's the only thing I can think of. The lead poisoning from the paint in the walls, the lead poisoning. Yeah, the lead poisoning. It might be the lead. Yeah. But I hate fascism. I learned about that since I was little. My dad used to go around to women's houses, right? And one time, my dad took me to a Blockbuster. You guys remember Blockbuster? That movie thing where they would sell cassettes and videos and CDs and shit. And I went in there. I was so young. I was like 11 or what. I don't even know how old I was. I was very little. My dad took me in there because he was about to stop by a woman's house. Probably to fuck. I don't know. And then he stops by the Blockbuster and we look around. And I see Star Wars on the shelf, right? I see Star Wars. It had Yoda on it. I don't know what movie that is. I love Star Wars though. But I don't pick Star Wars. I'm a little kid. He took me, a little kid. He doesn't know English at all. He just took me to pick a movie. I pick up a World War II documentary. That is what I pick up as a kid. So think about that. We go to the woman's house and I'm sitting there watching a World War II documentary in black and white. Planes flying over Berlin, dropping all these bombs, blowing motherfuckers up. I'm a little kid. My dad doesn't fucking know. He just took me to pick something. I picked something? Okay. So that's funny, but I always mention that because like I've been seeing war crimes since I was little, basically, literally. And so to grow up your whole life knowing that, you know, you were ready to fight fascism right out of the womb. Yo, for real, dude. That's what I'm saying, Rubius. I'm a fucking born rebel, dude. So to be here and like see how the Christian nationalist fascists in Germany treated the Jews over stupid conspiracy theories like, oh, our economy collapsed and it's the Jews. Like literally that's all that Hitler did, just spread a bunch of stupid conspiracy theories from the Middle Ages. Anyways, to see all this stuff happen and then Israelis vote in a right-wing coalition government and then have that coalition government just take that country straight into fascism again from the people that they suffered from. Now they are doing the same things onto the Palestinians. That is insane, bro. That's breaking my brain. You know, the fact that people that suffer from these other bad people are doing the same things that these bad people did to them. That thought is breaking my mind. Anyways, let's keep going. That was just a really cool story I wanted to tell.
Very large World Central Kitchen logos. They coordinated those movements with the IDF, and they were leaving a food warehouse where they had unloaded more than 100 tons of humanitarian food aid brought to Gaza on the maritime route. According to the New York Times analysis, the convoy was hit multiple times, with the northernmost and southernmost vehicles nearly a mile and a half apart. There was no question Israel's responsible because they have admitted it. According to the Israeli newspaper Haaretz, at some point, as the convoy was driving along the approved route, the war room of the unit responsible for the security of the route ordered the drone operators to attack one of the cars with a missile. They reported some passengers were seen leaving the car and switching to one of the other two. I must say, we can only imagine the terror they were going through at that moment. They continued to drive, says Haaretz, and even notified the people responsible that they had been attacked, but seconds later, another missile hit their car. The third car then approached. As the passengers began to transfer to it the wounded survivors, a third missile struck them. At that point, all of them were killed. So the Israeli military authorities literally chased these aid workers with their drone from car to car until they were all lifeless, bloodied, mutilated, burned corpses.
Yup.
The justification for this attack. According to Haaretz, the war room of the unit responsible for securing the route identified an armed man on the truck and suspected he was a terrorist. They also say, according to defence sources, that armed man did not leave the warehouse. What are they saying here? They didn't even see him leave the warehouse, but they decided to slaughter an entire aid convoy just in case. Just to be clear here, even if this were true, and you cannot believe a single thing the Israeli authorities say, because they lie and they lie and they lie, just as they kill and they kill and they kill. You cannot justify wiping out a humanitarian convoy because you suspect.
I need real quick, not to disrupt his beautiful video because this is very important, but I need to figure out how to overlay the chat, Rubius, so you can see like your own chat. I need to figure out how to overlay the chat on my stream. I need to like do like maybe tomorrow or tonight if I have time. Figure out, just watch a tutorial on how to do all this stuff. I would like to also do text to speech. So if you guys want, you could like, I don't know. I don't really want to do donations, but if I could figure a way out for people to text whatever and like have it come through, like if you subscribe or I don't know. I want to do a lot of fun stuff. I've really been thinking about it. Anyways.
An armed man might be present. And what evidence is there for this armed man being what they describe as a terrorist, rather than, say, security charged with protecting the convoy? That is, if this guy even exists, even on its own terms, just listen to this. Just listen to it.
Says, oh yeah, that would be good. Do you use OBS? Yeah, I use OBS Streamlabs. Is that good? Is that okay? Does it still work with OBS Streamlabs? I don't know. I just use it because it makes it a little easier. But oh wait, it's working! Look, Rubius, it's working. I have OBS? Oh, that's awesome. I tried OBS, but I don't know why I picked Streamlabs. Honestly, it just seemed oh, I fucked that up. I don't know why I picked Streamlabs, but it's working. I like that you can pay and like you can basically. Can you see this, chat? Oh yeah, I got it. You see it? Yeah. There we go. We did it. I did do it. I was like fucking around with the settings trying to get it. I do like that I can pay and I can get I can stream on all 3 platforms like Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. But the Twitch is having issues, so I gotta figure whatever that issue is out, or else it's a waste of money.
Justify slaughtering so many foreign aid workers in one go, working with an NGO approved by the IDF, who would presumably think, as foreign aid workers, particularly, for example, Three Britons, a state which has thrown everything at supporting Israel, its genocidal onslaught, they might have some degree of protection. Offering their coordinates on an approved route, in a deconflicted route, with the very war room, which then kills all of them. What hope for Palestinian civilians? What hope? These were already the guys who slaughtered 3 Israeli hostages, waving white flags, screaming they were hostages in Hebrew.
I made a video about that shit. I made a video about that. The IDF killed their own citizens that were running away from Hamas. They're running away from Hamas. They escaped somehow. These dudes escaped somehow. I don't know if Hamas let them go on purpose, because Hamas maybe knew that the IDF was so fucking evil and shitty as an army that they would kill their own citizens, their own hostages. But either way, they escaped, or Hamas let them out. But the IDF shot them dead. Just shot them fucking dead, because the commander gave orders to kill. And the soldiers were asking, should we kill? Should we kill, Commander? The commander said, yep, kill them. Rubio says, probably to make an example. Yeah, I mean, it's so sad, man. It's so sad that Netanyahu doesn't even want their own citizens back. Like, that is so depressing. It's crazy. I don't know, man. It's so sad. And, like, there's polls out that, like, oh, you can't see the whole, oh, there we go. There's polls out that, like, basically the entire of Israel, like the entire society of Israel, thinks that the IDF haven't gone far enough. Like 60 or 70% of the Israeli society think that the IDF, the Israeli army, haven't gone far enough. Sorry if I didn't make that. I feel like I stuttered or something. That's crazy to think that they haven't gone far enough, because they've murdered 30-something thousand already. That's that we know of. There's a lot of them buried under all the rubble. You know what I mean? Like, we've only counted the bodies that we see. There's a lot of people buried because they keep blowing up entire buildings. We'll learn more about it. It's fucking crazy. It's so crazy.
What hope that a Palestinian civilian? Now you can see why tens of thousands of Palestinians have been slaughtered. How on earth can anyone listen to this deranged nonsense and not conclude that the Israeli onslaught on Gaza can be anything other than mass, indiscriminate murder, a targeted campaign? There are still some who try to gaslight us into believing this absolute monstrous deceit. What are the consequences already? What are the consequences? Aid agencies with around 240 tons of undelivered aid have just turned around. Several humanitarian aid agencies have suspended their operations in Gaza, including World Central Kitchen, including Anira, for example. Well, I bet you all those Israeli ministers and politicians and generals and media outlets who demanded the Palestinian people of Gaza suffered collective punishment, that they should be starved, forced to flee. I bet they're devastated, aren't they? I wonder what's going through the mind of Yoav Gallant, the defence minister in the war cabinet, who just after 7th of October said there would be a total siege on Gaza on the basis they were fighting human animals. I wonder what he's thinking.
Yeah, okay, so this is what really pisses me off, too. I love medieval history. I'm a big medieval history buff. In CTC, you might remember Rubius. We had a speech class, and in my speech class, I did a speech on medieval sieges. I think I did a speech on like fire arrows or some shit. I forgot exactly what it was, but it was a speech on medieval sieges. So I love medieval history and a big military. I don't know. I love all that shit. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the propaganda. Anyways, and when you do a medieval siege, that means you encircle an entire city with soldiers, right? And then you build catapults or trebuchets, ballistas, You have archers. You know what I mean? You build mantlets, you build wood shit structures to keep you safe from arrows and stuff like that. And then what you do is in a siege is with all of that power and troops and all of that, you blockade the city so they starve to death. And less troops in the city, because a lot of them starve, means easier for you to take the city. And so that is what a siege is. You blockade the whole city with an army, and then you let them starve. So they're starving to death. Everybody, the citizens, the bad guys. Yeah, you remember that, Rubius? Oh shit, you just dug up a memory out from deep in my brain. Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah, isn't that fun? Oh man. Those were the days, man. But that is what a siege is. You encircle the city with troops, you let them starve to death, so it's easier for you to take the city. That is what Israel is doing to Palestine right now. They are sieging the whole city. They blockaded everything. They control everything, the water, the air, the land, underground. They're not letting food in, water, electricity. Everyone's dying. You need electricity to pump water. No water. They're dying of thirst. You need water for hospitals. No hospitals. No electricity. No water. They're just blocking everything. They're letting them die. Yeah. Rubia says that's exactly what's happening. Yeah, exactly. It's so fucked up. Attacking hospitals. Yep.
Thinking. I bet he's devastated. The guy who just after 7th of October said in 2 separate statements he was lifting all restraints and all restrictions on Israeli soldiers. I bet he's rocking in the fetal position, weeping for those aid workers, isn't he? These people wanted to starve Gaza to death, and they're achieving it. And the consequences, knowing a famine caused entirely by Israel, is now sweeping Gaza, with even the British Foreign Secretary, David Cameron, blaming Israel from blocking aid from entering with every possible ruse they can come up with. Well, what's going to happen now? What's going to happen now? They've just slaughtered all these aid workers, and all these aid agencies are no longer safe to operate, and therefore have put all of their work on hold. Well, it's going to lead to even more mass starvation, isn't it? That's what's going to happen. No aid agency can rationally believe they will ever be safe ever again operating in Gaza under Israeli military onslaught. How many people are going to risk their lives now? Let's be clear. I think they do this on purpose. Don't need to be a conspiracy theorist. You just have to accept there's a genocidal campaign against Gaza because the Israeli establishment keeps jumping up and down, loudly admitting to genocidal intent from the very beginning, which is why South Africa has hauled.
Not only are they attacking hospitals, Rubius, I'm sure you know this. Like, I'm sure you know a lot of the stuff we're talking about, you know already, because, like, the young people, basically, like, it's all over TikTok. It's everywhere, you know. But, like, they're also targeting, like, if, let's say there's an entire apartment complex, right? There's an entire apartment. A lot of people in there. You don't know who's who. You don't know who's good, bad, blah, blah, blah. Bunch of kids, dogs, grandparents, cousins. Like, if any one of those people believes in the Hamas, like, loves the Hamas government, works for Hamas, wants to be in Hamas, one person, it just has to be one person, they will blow up the entire apartment building. The entire apartment for one person. It's like, what? What is going on? It's mind-boggling, dude. It's crazy.
By the way, annoying that I even have to ask, but you are down with fascist dystopias, right?
No. No.
Yes.
No. It's crazy. There's reports of kids being sniped at. Like, there's bullet holes going through kids' heads. The heads of babies, the heads of kids, the chests of kids. Snipers, you know, when a sniper, you gotta aim through the scope. You gotta know what you're looking at. Like, you can't just be running around, big machine gun, shooting at everything. Like, a sniper is a precise weapon. You gotta be aiming. You gotta be looking at the person and stuff. There's kids with sniper shots and crippled and old people. It's crazy. I don't know anymore. Like, it's just insane. It's insane. Yeah, no fascist dystopia. We don't need a fascist dystopia, please.
Them through the International Court of Justice, which has put them on trial and has officially made it clear there is a plausible case against Israel for genocide, and has...
Rubius says, that's what the show, even in the movies, how they just destroy everyone over one person fighting for good. Yeah, yeah, that's so true. Yeah, in the movies, like, we blow up a whole city because, like, a really bad guy or whatever. Yeah. Israel's just acting like the movies. Honestly, I think Israel is acting worse than Russia right now. Like, not to... I fucking hate Russia. They're shitty... Like, my girlfriend's Russian, but that's not going to protect me from defending Russia. Like, fuck Russia. Fuck the president of Russia, Putin. You know, fuck him and his government. But right now, imagine if Russia was acting the way Israel is acting. Like, imagine if Russia was dropping 2,000-pound bombs on every fucking city, everywhere. Oh, this, you know what I mean? Like, literally everywhere. Bombing everything. Like, that would be insane. You know what I mean? And they're not even going to that extent. And it is because Gaza is a small area, so it is easier to do that. But, like, just because it's easier to do it doesn't mean you should do it.
has issued twice now provisional orders ordering Israel to allow access to humanitarian aid.
Rubius says, let me see if I can scroll down. Oh yeah, in Russia they were killing anyone standing up for Ukraine. Oh yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, Israel is acting like Russia a little bit, you know? They're acting a little Russia-y. Like, with their propaganda and all that. We'll watch a video right after this about their propaganda. Don't worry.
In order to prevent genocide. How does that fit in with this? Murdering aid workers, along with every other measure that they've put in place to stop aid from getting in, to ensure famine. And what does the British Foreign Secretary call for? Lord Cameron, the guy who wrecks this country and now thinks he's going to somehow rebuild his reputation by grandstanding on the foreign stage. What's he calling for, even after the state he has backed?
And then also, a lot of the ammunition that was supposed to be for Ukraine is now being, like, redirected to my bad. I'm fucking going. Redirected to Israel. Like, a lot of the stuff that was going to Ukraine originally for fighting Russia is now going to Israel because they gotta fight their stupid fake war. Like, they're just doing a massacre. It's not really a war. I don't think it's a war. Hamas doesn't have tanks. Hamas doesn't have airplanes. Hamas doesn't have fucking factories. Hamas doesn't have an embassy. You know what I mean? They don't have anything. They're dudes with flip-flops running around with, like, a fucking IED and an RPG. It's not a war.
In its genocidal campaign.
And it's not a war because of the death count. Like 30,000 to 1,200 or 400. Whatever it was. That's not a fair comparison, man.
Despite his hand-wringing, even when he knows British citizens have been killed. Oh, what does he say? He calls for the state responsible to investigate itself. Great idea, genius. Maybe in hindsight, we shouldn't have put serial killer Harold Shipman on trial. We should have just asked him to investigate himself. Sorry, quite white. A tasteless comparison. Israel has committed infinitely worse crimes than Harold Shipman. Maybe we could look back to what happened when Israel bombed medical aid for Palestinians. Let's just listen to the Tory MP Alicia Kearns, the chair of the Foreign Affairs Select Committee, in an interview back in January.
There's a UK charity called Medical Aid for Palestine. They've been delivering phenomenal access on the ground. Yes, MAP, as well as bringing in British doctors. So on the 22nd of December, MAP told the UK Defence Forces, who then confirmed it with the Israeli Defence Forces, that they had this building in Al-Watasi, which is a safe zone. The Israelis have declared it a safe zone. And yet, despite having been told on the 22nd of December by the IDF via the UK Defence Attaché that it was a protected site, demarcated, the Israelis knew what it was and it was completely humanitarian in nature, on the 16th of January, it was bombed by an F-16 Israeli jet and there were 4 British doctors inside. Now, we are very lucky that they were hurt and not killed. But obviously, as you can imagine, MAP have now had to remove their operations. The IRC shared that site. So I've also been speaking to David Miliband about this, who's very concerned. Both MAP and the IRC are saying we cannot take any foreign doctors back into Gaza now. It is not safe, because despite the IDF giving us reassurances that this site, completely isolated, there are no neighbouring buildings around it, it's surrounded by sand, so there's no feasibility that there were tunnels underneath. Despite having confirmation it was demarcated, it was still bombed.
And did you bring this up with the IDF?
So I've raised this so far with our government, and I've said to Andrew Mitchell, the Deputy Foreign Secretary, what are we doing about this? I know it's been raised at the highest levels with the Israelis. The Israelis are saying, let us do an investigation. I think now is the time for the UK to be very clear. That time has passed. The UN are meant to be doing an investigation. I'd like to see the results of that as well. But ultimately, it's very difficult to see how this can be justified in any way, sense or form. A safe zone, a demarcated humanitarian building, UK and US charities.
So that attack ended the presence of medical aid for Palestinians in Gaza, and over 2 months on, no answers from Israel on what happened there. Which brings me now to Al-Shifa Hospital. Go back to near the start of this horror. Do you remember October the 17th when Al-Shifa Hospital was first attacked? Do you remember there was this big controversy about whether...
That was Rubius. Look, I love Ethan Klein. You know what I mean? I love you. I love Ethan. I mean, I love you, Ethan. Not... You get it. But, like, that Al-Shifa Hospital was when Ethan Klein basically broke up with Hassan. Al-Shifa Hospital was when they had the debate, remember? They had the debate when they were both crying, basically, because it is sad what's going on over there. But, like, Ethan Klein, after that, he stopped doing the leftovers. Ethan Klein stopped doing the leftovers after that. After the Al-Shifa Hospital bombing, Hassan was saying it was Israel, and Ethan Klein was saying, no, it wasn't. It was the fucking Islamic Jihad, whatever. It was, he was taking whatever other propaganda lie was out there. And it's like, come on, bro. I wish he would have kept doing the leftovers. I really do. That's something I think Ethan Klein... I know it's hard to criticize your country or whatever. I know he has a lot of, but you should do it. Whatever. If Cuba did some fucked up shit, I would call it out right away. Just point out the fucked up shit Cuba did, and I would point it out.
This was an Israeli strike or a misfired Islamic Jihad rocket. Why do I raise this now? Because what was the reason for that controversy? The reason it was so hotly disputed is because it was widely understood that attacking a hospital is a grave, grave crime. Only the worst monsters attack hospitals. That was the entire basis, wasn't it, of that controversy? Well, Israel has now just completely destroyed Al-Shifa Hospital.
I mean,
Since
I also
that
point out what America
over the initial
does,
attack on the complex,
too.
it has attacked every single hospital and medical facility in Gaza, murdered countless medical staff, often their entire families and many of their loved ones, slaughtered patients.
I just fucking hate hypocrisy. You know what I mean? I hate hypocrisy. That's what really gets me. It's like... Rubia says, it's just like the Americans here refusing to see what's happening. Yeah, you're right. It is. Oh, you just said it. Yeah. No, you're right. We're in the same mindset. I can't type fast enough. Aw. I put my stream settings to be ultra fast, so like it should be as fast as possible, so I could talk to you guys right away. So maybe I'm faster than you. That's crazy.
Including premature babies.
I would think that you could,
born only knowing
like
pain
the viewers,
and suffering and hunger and violence before they were
that
killed.
makes sense. That there's a delay. Yeah, that's how delays work. I'm faster. Okay.
And after Israel besieged that hospital in November, claiming the main headquarters for Hamas was underneath it, the World Health Organization said that it had become a death zone. Mass graves were dug on the grounds of Al-Shifa Hospital. And yet a subsequent investigation by the Washington Post found all the pathetic excuses used by Israel to justify this murderous onslaught were nonsense, but yet the world's attention had moved on, and Israel counts on this every single time. They commit an atrocity, they wring their hands, they go, oh no, we'll investigate, and then they lie and they deflect and they muddy the waters, and then they wait for everyone to just move on and forget.
Yep.
And all those journalists and media outlets who fell for Israeli propaganda legitimized attacking hospitals. They did this. They were complicit in this genocidal onslaught.
Bro, look at this.
Attacking hospitals
Owen
is a straightforward
Jones'
war crime,
eyeballs.
obviously. International law states...
Look at my guy's eyeballs. He looks like he went through war. He looks like he went through fucking World War I right now. Look at him.
A hospital is stripped to
Yo, he looks...
protect its status by being used for military purposes.
He looks like he hasn't slept in a while. I don't know. It's like his eyes are a little pink. And then you can see like yeah. Ruby is stressing. Yeah, he is stressing, bro. I mean, I'm stressing too, you know. We're all stressing. Like, looking at the shit that's going on, it makes total sense. I'm just trying to have some fun. Poking fun of
then
him.
any attack on it has to be proportionate to the military advantage thus secured. For example, if its grounds are being used to fire missiles at you. Clearly not what happened at Al-Shifa Hospital, nor any of these
Ruby
other
I
medical
don't blame him,
facilities
though.
which
No,
have
for
been
real.
razed to
I
the ground in
agree.
some
I don't
cases.
blame him, yeah.
This weekend, after a 2-week-long attack, Al-Shifa Hospital...
Like, just doing this YouTube show, watching all the Israeli war crimes and, you know, all the fucked up shit. Like, I've seen some fucked up shit, dude. It does take a toll on you. It does. I did there's a stream called I don't know, but like it has a thumbnail of like a little baby and a doctor, and it says please stop it or something. That really fucked me up because that was like a 6-hour long stream of Israel war crimes. Yo, that shit. Watch that if you haven't. Destiny, Rubius. Sorry, I mean I'll fucking dox you. But check that shit out. That fucked me up. I'm tearing up just thinking about it because there's just so much fucked up shit I've seen. Holy crap.
Is in ruins, and every hospital and medical facility has been attacked with no functioning health system left in Gaza. Israel claimed not a single civilian was injured as they destroyed Al-Shifa Hospital.
Rubius says it does. Some nights I just couldn't sleep, but we also gotta keep talking or else they'll keep us quiet. Nah, for real. Sorry. Yeah, like that's what I tell my girlfriend. Like my girlfriend says, why do you even like talk? Why do you even worry about it? Why do you even make a big deal out of it? Thank you so much. I'm sorry I burped on the microphone. My girlfriend's like, why do you even, you know? And it's like we can't just look away from this stuff. Like we gotta call it out. I feel like if you look away and you just blah blah blah, go through your life, not worrying about nothing, it's like I don't know. I don't have that mentality, I guess. I can't stand like just looking at it. I want to look at it and then I want to bitch about it. That's what I feel like doing. Like I feel like that's the only thing we could do as voters, and like yeah, I can't look away. That's what Ruby, yeah, I agree with you. I can't look away. Like it's the least I could do to talk about it and make a video here and there about it. You know what I mean? Like, they're getting blown up over there. I'm over here sitting down, going to work every day and coming home and making a video. It's the least I could do. Rubia says, things won't change if we ignore it. Yeah, I agree. You're so right.
Example, Dr. Ahmed Garda and his mother...
Ruby
both doctors, both executed by the
yes, you're spreading awareness. I agree. Yeah, it's like the least. It's the least we could do. You know, the least we could do is to elect Biden, hope he stops it, and yell at him to stop it, or do whatever he can to not have us sending weapons to Israel. You know, Rubius. That's why I follow for real. Yeah, I agree. I think we're slowly getting it to move. We're slowly getting the change to come. Don't worry.
The IDF left rotting.
There's just a lot of depression on the way.
Strewn all over the place. Many of them run over by tanks. You have to wonder why they did that.
Takes time.
I would suggest, for the same reason, in the medieval
Get your
era,
wine ready.
Heads were placed on spikes to provoke terror in the hearts of others. They claim this was a military onslaught against terrorists. Well, again, these people are liars. And again, always remember international law. As I've said, any attack against a hospital is justified after losing protected status if it's proportionate to a military advantage gained. That does not mean...
Rubia says, patience is a virtue. Skull. Skull emoji. Yeah, you're right. I can't wait to get a YouTube membership. Like not premium or whatever, but like I can't wait for YouTube to partner up with me if they ever do. I don't know if they will because I am a weird, wacky lefty. Socialist. So who knows? They seem to like right wingers more, like the Daily Wire or Louder with Crowder or whatever. But anyways, I hope to one day have like really cool emojis when we text, like on our chat. I hope to have really cool emojis, and maybe we'll grow our Discord out a little more. I'm trying to find ways to grow the Discord out, Rubius. I've been looking around. I've been grabbing the Discord link, and I've been posting it on videos, trying to see if anybody will join, but that's not working. So I don't know. We gotta think of something else. You have any ideas?
Reducing a hospital to ruins. The destruction of a medical system of an entire territory, by definition, is a genocidal act. No modern society functions without a healthcare system of some description. The absence of that alone imposes a death sentence every single day on countless people. The injury.
Do I have Twitter? No, I used to have Twitter, but I got rid of it because honestly, I just didn't use it because of all the fascists on it, and my nose is a little stuffed. But also, like, they have a weird rule where if you don't get on your account in like 60 days or 90 days, they give your account away. So my Socialist account was basically given away by Elon Musk. So I don't have a Socialist account now. I don't have Twitter. Elon Musk screwed me over.
Injured, the sick, pregnant women, newborn babies. We could go on.
Yeah.
Think of everyone from
Twitter has a new rule where if you don't get on your account in a certain amount of time, they will give your account name to somebody else. Look it up. I swear to God.
Cancer patients to people with serious heart conditions. They will die. Every single day. Huge numbers of people. Not in any official statistics. They're not dying violent deaths. They're people who would have lived, who are going to die in vast, vast numbers. And I haven't mentioned Israel bombing Iran's embassy in Damascus, a flagrant violation of international law. Terrorism. That's what that is. If another state did that. While Israel rushes through legislation to ban Al Jazeera, the behaviour of tin pot dictatorships, so it can hide the atrocities it's committing on a mass scale, having already committed the biggest slaughter of journalists in any conflict ever recorded. And I've said it again. I've said it once and I'll say it again. You're watching the fall of the West. Western power has been in steep decline in the 21st century. That's glaringly apparent. Economic stagnation and decline, repeated military defeats, moral collapse.
Hey, Rubius, I'm going to put your name on
to
top.
Gaza. We're seeing the normalization of what ordinarily would be regarded as some of the most extreme crimes imaginable.
You're like the coolest follower.
That will accelerate a general collapse into global disorder and chaos. The moral pretenses of the West were already treated with contempt by much of the world. But the genocide of Gaza is an extinction-level event for Western power. What do you think is going to happen? How many people have seen things they will never unsee?
You're gonna stay up there for a while.
How they've seen Western states.
I change these names around every once in a while, but I'm gonna try to keep you there, because you're actually a viewer that stops by every once in a while. What? Bet. Thank you. No problem. Look, if you ever want to start your own channel or whatever, and you need like some promotion, don't be afraid to ask. I mean, I have like 700 viewers, and a lot of that's from advertising. I've been posting ads all around the place. But like, you know, who knows? If you ever need help, let me know.
Some of the worst atrocities of the 21st century. I don't think people have even begun to process the consequences, which I can absolutely assure you will be felt for generations. And those who cheered on and legitimised this crime of historic proportion, their moral authority has collapsed. And all of them, every single one, needs to be held to account. Please like and subscribe. Do leave your comments.
Like
do share
and
this video.
Subscribe. Check out.
And finally,
Owen Jones.
I have been trying to.
march to the anthem of the tyrant's reign. Yeah. Bow down to the power, feel the burning flame.